let's not waste any time, Jeff, because you've been all over this. We'll throw the graphic up and let you just take it away in what was perhaps a sigh of relief for a good chunk of this Ravens fan base when you learned the following about Nate Wiggins earlier today.
Yeah, it feels like they've dodged 2 bullets now in about a 3 practice span. The Zay Flowers one it didn't look that serious at the time because it looked simply like a knee to the quad, which is what it turned out to be. Some of the stretches he was doing off to the side, and the fact that he walked back to the locker room, which is a pretty long walk when you're on that third field, all those factors suggested it wouldn't be very serious with Zay. And sure enough, he misses 1 practice. He was back on the field today doing individual stuff, didn't do team stuff. He still was favoring it a little bit, but it's a bruise, it's a kind of a thigh bruise. So it'll be a bit, but that one worked out. Now, this one did not look good in any way, shape, or form. Just to go over the play, they're doing one-on-ones, and this was sort of the featured matchup. Nate Wiggins, the number 1 corner on this team, against Jacoby Lane, who's had everybody talking with his play in over the summer. And the shame of it for Wiggins was it was a picture tech. It was a textbook rep, right? He was stride for stride with Lane down the far end of the field. And he had great position on him. The ball was a little overthrown on the one-on-one. And as they sort of got to the end zone, Wiggins extended to make a play on the ball. And he sort of had Lane boxed out, so there's really nothing Lane could do. And I don't know if they got their feet tangled or what, or Wiggins just took an awkward step. But right away, you saw him writhing in pain on the ground. It's just not one of those. It was one of those things where you knew immediately it was hurt. It's not like he just came up kind of shaken up and then it got progressively worse. He's writhing on the ground. People rushed over to him, and it didn't look good. Let's just keep it at that. He eventually was loaded on the cart. Lamar, Henry, Lane spent time with him while he was getting looked at because Lane was in the end zone with them, and they all kind of went over to him and tapped him on his way out. He looked pretty distraught. And then, they took the cart all the way to the field house, and he didn't put any weight on it. He was carried into the field house basically by the athletic trainers with kind of his arms draped around them. So I think you kind of were fearing the worst, to be honest. Those things kind of happen in training camp. Very rarely do they work out for the best usually. So and then we're not allowed to tweet out injuries during practice. It's a no-go. So you kind of are sitting there and you're watching the signs, and the head athletic trainer of the Ravens, Adrian Dixon, comes back from the building and has a talk with DaCosta. DaCosta looks very serious. The whole energy of the practice changed after that. It's just, you could tell they know how important this guy is. And then a little later, Dixon again came back to talk to DaCosta, and Jesse Minter was calling the defense at the time, sort of hustled over to be part of the conversation. So you're like, this isn't good. But I think the Ravens are still trying to get a handle on what it is and how long he may be out, if any time. But the good news, as I tweeted earlier, was they're pretty confident what they've seen from the MRI that he's avoided a major injury. And Rappaport also reported there's no structural damage. So the ligaments are intact, and all that is great news. I think they're still trying to, as I said, they're still trying to get a hold of it. They won't rush Nate Wiggins back. They'll do more tests and figure this out. But another source who, I heard from said he's going to be fine. And that was probably the best news the Ravens can get, and what was kind of a scary moment. I mean, you look at it, and is Nate Wiggins one of their top 5 players on this football team? No. Is he one of their 5 most important players in this football team? You could make a case that he very well is. They want to play more man-to-man. They want to get back to being more aggressive defensively. There will be certain situations where they'll match up. Wiggins is key to all those things, and you don't have him on the field. I do think they have some cornerback depth, but there's nobody with Wiggins' skill set and swagger and all that. So, that I don't know how long they'll keep dodging bullets here, guys, but this was a big one to dodge. And now we'll see how long he's out for, if he misses any game time. But I think all things considered, this is about this is what I tweeted about the Flowers thing too. That was the best case scenario. And it looks like right now they got the best case scenario involving Nate Wiggins.
We're fired up about a brand new partnership, and it is with our friends at SeatGeek. It's the time where everybody starts looking at the calendar. We get it. And all of you guys probably get it too. Which Ravens game am I pulling up to this year? I'm sure you're asking yourself something along those lines. Whether it's a big AFC North matchup, a primetime game at the bank, or even a road trip, who knows? SeatGeek makes it super easy to find tickets. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app, and they have more than 70,000 events listed. We're talking concerts, sports, festivals, and everything in between. And one of the best parts is how simple they make it to know if you're actually getting a good deal. Every ticket is rated on a scale from 1 to 10, so you know what you're looking at right away. Green dots, good deal. Red dots, bad deal. So when you're trying to get into a Ravens game without overpaying, SeatGeek has your back. And every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee, so you can buy with confidence. And of course, if you use code Collective10, that's Collective10, you'll get 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. Again, that's 10% off any tickets with the promo code Collective10. Click the link that we have in the description, download the app, have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it for later.
I almost feel like responsible for this because there was that tweet this morning about teams calling on TJ Tampa, and I tweeted the Ozzie Newsome quote that he said years ago, but he said you can never have too many corners. And then this happens, and it really just goes to show just how important the depth is, because you never know when one of these injuries could happen. And Jeff, I think you summed it up really well. Not only is Nate Wiggins at a very important position, but as we discussed a few weeks ago, I think he's probably, him or Malachi Starks would be probably the top two guys that I think are going to benefit the most from Jesse Minter's defense coming in here. Just the type of style, the man match principles that you're going to see from his cover 4 scheme. I think it really fits Nate Wiggins. I think that's where you could see him take a big step. So today just felt like a gut punch. Like it was just one of those days that, it dragged on all afternoon. You're kind of updating everyone's Twitters, trying to see what the hell's going on. And, it did feel a lot like the Zay thing, where it was kind of best case scenario. He's going to miss a few weeks and, might drag into the end of August, but probably going to have him back sooner rather than later, which is huge. But it just goes to show just how important the cornerback depth piece is. And I want folks, and we're going to kind of talk about the position battle, specifically, the battle for the 5-6 spots. The 5th and 6th spot on the team, and how important that depth is, because man, we saw it a few years ago when we had a guy named Robert Jackson out there defending Devontae Adams. Like life comes at you fast when you start losing corners in this league.
I mean, this team has seen playoff hopes get pissed away because they don't have healthy corners. I mean, let's be honest. We've seen Super Bowl caliber Ravens teams that have come up short because they've run out of healthy corners. So you're right, Cole. I don't think TJ Tampa's going anywhere. As I've said, I think he's not only going to make this team, but he's going to play defensive snaps. But they couldn't afford to lose Wiggins. And it's also kind of a swagger element, man. I mean, that's what they want to get back to on this defense. They brought in some alphas in Hendrickson and Zion Young, and they want to play with a little more aggressiveness and in your face and swagger and confidence. And yes, Nate Wiggins has had 2 inconsistent seasons, but he has those qualities and he has that skill set. But yeah, it was, and guys, just so you guys understand, because I talked to you guys. But yeah, it's kind of a helpless feeling for us too, because we're not allowed to tweet injuries during practice, but yet there's 2,000 fans sitting behind us and they're tweeting about it, even though, they have the safe management security people, but you can't babysit 2,000 people. So yeah, I'm getting all these people blowing me up. Hey, is Nate Wiggins? And I can't say a word about it until practice. I wasn't even talking about you, Cole. To be honest, I wasn't taking any shots. But it's all of my whole timeline. Like, why are you reporting about Nate Wiggins? Because I want my media credential. I'd like to keep it. I need it to carry your guys' asses on the show. So anyway, so yeah,
you won't even let me in the country, Jeff.
So it was, we'll see how long he's out, but it definitely feels like the dodge the bullet was in full effect, because this one did not look good.